Tonight, Republicans are turning sharply against Attorney General Pam Bondi over her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, and the backlash is no longer subtle. Just this morning, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie was blunt when asked if he still had confidence in Bondi. I don't think Pam Bondi has confidence in Pam Bondi. No, I don't have confidence in her. There's no accountability at the Department of Justice. That criticism comes after a heated confrontation this week between Bondi and lawmakers demanding transparency, including a stunning exchange with Vermont Congresswoman Becca Balint. During the hearing, Balint urged Bondi to meet with Epstein's survivors, a request that has gone unanswered for over a year. Instead of addressing those concerns, Bondi deflected, launching a personal attack and accusing Balint of anti-Semitism. Balint, whose grandfather was murdered in the Holocaust, fired back in disbelief. Tonight, Congresswoman Becca Balint joins us. Congresswoman, thank you for being here. I want to begin with the unredacted Epstein files that you and your colleagues were allowed to view last week, and the disturbing allegations that followed. At what point did you realize something wasn't right? Balint says the entire process raised red flags from the start. Lawmakers were given constantly changing rules, barred from taking notes, monitored by DOJ minders, and assigned individual computer logins, something she now believes was used to track their activity. That concern was confirmed during the hearing when DOJ officials appeared to have detailed records of lawmakers' searches inside the file system. Balint says she never imagined the Department of Justice would surveil members of Congress, calling the revelation chilling. Then came Bondi's personal attack. Balint says the Attorney General arrived prepared not to answer questions, but to deflect, attack, and shift blame, never once acknowledging Epstein's victims. She describes the moment as a textbook case of Darvo, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. Even more disturbing, Balint says, is the possibility that the DOJ used surveillance data to discredit her line of questioning, particularly regarding a senior Trump administration official with past ties to Epstein. Despite evidence contradicting earlier testimony, Bondi dismissed further scrutiny, declaring prior statements good enough. Balint says that response reinforces growing fears of a cover-up, one involving a vast network of powerful individuals who continued associating with Epstein even after his crimes were public. As lawmakers dig deeper, Balint warns the truth is grim. She describes files filled with careless redactions, victims' names and photos exposed, while influential figures remain shielded. The emails reveal what she calls a culture of entitlement, cruelty, and utter disregard for young girls. This wasn't a small circle, Balint says. It was a system. And she makes one thing clear. If the Justice Department refuses to pursue accountability, Congress will. We're not letting this go. While Washington remains consumed by political battles, the number of children held in U.S. immigration detention has surged. According to multiple reports, the number of children in custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement has increased sixfold since the beginning of President Trump's second term. One detention facility in particular, the Dilley Detention Center in South Texas, is now holding hundreds of children, many of them with their parents, some for weeks or even months at a time. Among them is the case that has shocked the nation. Liam Ramos, a 5-year-old boy detained in Minneapolis and transferred more than 1,000 miles away to Texas. Images of Liam wearing a bunny hat while in custody have become a symbol of the broader crisis. But advocates warn, Liam's case is not unique. A 16-year-old detainee identified as Christian Ruby told the New York Times, "I just want to get out of here. It's hell." Investigative outlet ProPublica has also published letters and drawings from children inside Dilley. Many describe fear, depression, and separation from family members. In one letter, 14-year-old Ariana Velasquez wrote that detention has left her feeling sadness and mostly depression, fearing what would happen to her family if deported. Civil rights groups and immigration attorneys say these detentions are part of a broader enforcement strategy directed by the White House and the Department of Homeland Security, prioritizing mass detention even when no violent crime is involved. Government officials maintain that these facilities are legal and necessary under existing immigration law. However, lawyers who represent families inside the centers report overcrowding, limited access to medical care, and severe psychological stress, especially for children. The administration says it is targeting the worst of the worst. The evidence on the ground tells a more complicated story. And for many families still inside detention tonight, the question remains simple. How long will this last, and who is watching? She describes files filled with careless redactions, victims' names and photos exposed, while influential figures remain shielded. The emails reveal what she calls a culture of entitlement, cruelty, and utter disregard for young girls. This wasn't a small circle, Balin says. It was a system, and she makes one thing clear. If the Justice Department refuses to pursue accountability, Congress will. We're not letting this go.